It's been a little over 2 months since Donald Trump went on Sean Hannity's program on Fox News and said, "I'll be dictator just on day one." And then, of course, since that happened, Donald Trump has repeated that multiple times and even suggested that maybe it's a little bit longer than day one, which, for the record, is exactly what I predicted. Like, it starts off saying, "Oh, I'm just going to be dictator on day one." Then it's, just for the first week. And then it's first month, first year, so on and so forth. But according to a new poll published late last week, Republican voters, not MAGA voters, not just Trump supporters, but a majority of Republican voters think that that's probably at least okay. Let me read you this. On Wednesday, UMass Amherst released the results of a poll conducted by YouGov, in which respondents were asked about the concept. The framing of the comment was stark, excluding Trump's specific plans for using his theoretical dictatorial power. It was just the question they were asked, quote, "Trump recently said that if elected, he would be a dictator only on the first day of his second term. Do you think that this is a good or bad idea for the country?" Among Republican voters, a third said the idea of a day one dictatorship is definitely good. The same survey found that a combined 3/4 of GOP voters said that it was at least probably good. So a huge majority of Republican voters think that, to varying degrees, it's a good thing that Donald Trump wants to be a dictator. And I want to make sure that everybody understands this was not a poll of Trump supporters. This was a poll of Republicans. We've said repeatedly, not just me, but I think a lot of people, that, we got to make the distinctions between the MAGA cult members and the average, normal, everyday Republicans. But maybe not. Because if you're looking at this as just a regular Republican, like, I don't have any MAGA gear, I'm not waving a Trump flag or participating in a boat parade, I'm just a Republican conservative voter. But now if those people are also saying, you know what, I'm okay with him being a dictator for a day, what's the worst that could happen if we have a dictator for a day? Then the whole party is lost. There is no more separating the MAGA freaks from the average Republicans. There are no more average Republicans. If you're a member of this party, then this is what you stand for. We do not need to separate them. We shouldn't separate them. It doesn't matter if you consider yourself center right or far right. You're all the same at this point. Rallying behind a man with 91 felony charges against him who is telling you outright he wants to be a dictator. Because let's be honest, if you think it's just for one day, you're an idiot. That's not how that works. You show me anyone in history that's been given that kind of power for a limited amount of time where they just openly relinquished it at the end of it, right? History is literally filled with people who were temporarily given the power, then, oh no, wouldn't you know it, they don't give it up. That's kind of the human nature at this point. But either way, it's also important to remember that if Trump gets back in office, whether he's a dictator or not, I think he would be, these people, these Republicans who are saying, yeah, we're cool with this, y'all don't even seem to understand that you're the ones that are going to suffer the most. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to come after those of us on the left. He absolutely will. We will suffer. But who do you think's next, right? It's the old adage, first they came for this group and I didn't speak up for I'm not a part of that group. Yeah, you know how that ends. When he runs out of other people to attack, he's going to find new people to attack. If you say one thing against him, welcome to the work camps. You're going to be right there next to us. Not to mention the fact that even if he's not a dictator rounding people up, as some of his allies have suggested, you're going to suffer economically. So you will be the hardest hit. So no matter what happens, whether he's just a normal Republican in the White House or a complete and total dictator, y'all are going to suffer the brunt of it worse than a lot of people on the left. But you're still lining up behind him. You don't care. You don't realize it. I don't know which one it is. But either way, the hurt is not going to be limited to us on the left. And I can almost promise you, based on his first term, y'all are probably going to end up a lot worse off than any of us on the left.